Hillary. Appreciate it. Thank everybody for being here. This is not in my little script, but if you take a look around, there are well over 100 people here, and you are dwarfed by this setting. So thank you for coming and putting everything into perspective. I have to begin with thank yous to the people who are now listed on the back of the program, because as a collective effort over a period of at least 3 years, if not more, work has been done in this glen and in this park and on the stone facing behind me to make this event, in terms of its setting, possible. So too many people to name individually, but collectively thank everybody. However, I do have to do a shout out to the Stockbridge Police Department, who has unwaveringly this summer moved those cruisers more times than you can count to make sure we could get up here to do the work. For those of you sitting on the rocks, I thank you, because those rocks were not visible 2 months ago. So we are happy that you have found them. My purpose here today is to try and convey a bit of a bigger picture, a context, if you will, of what has been done and what still requires our attention. The restoration and attention paid to Laurel Hill Park by the Laurel Hill Association speaks to the larger issues facing all of us, the issue of respect and honor for the past and the importance of that history in our collective future. To restore implies that you have something to restore to. A healthy ecosystem creates conditions for natural healing and therefore sustainability, and are the hallmarks of our efforts as we're given the task of restoring this glen not only to a state more like its original, but one that is also resilient to face the challenges of the coming decades in both its natural and man-made features. We have thus far done judicious and selective work on the ground so as to protect the potential presence of artifacts below ground belonging to the Stockbridge-Muncie Mohican community. For example, when the laurels were replanted in certain areas, archaeologic work was funded by the association to ensure the security of what may lie below. As many of you know, and has been expressed up here today, the Mohican presence is significant to so much of what we value in Stockbridge. Current work this summer sought to normalize select open areas in the glen to mitigate the erosion due to runoff, alleviate compaction on the root zones, and by adding composted mulch and soils to the area that you see here without any below ground disturbance. We've done tree work, exposed boulders from years of leaf litter to allow seeding and viewing to basically reemerge. We've seeded mulch covered with straw and or wood chips to secure the soil, protect the tree roots, and provide a more consistent surface for walking. Improvement on the access way down there, where the vehicles have made their way up, was done out of a need for both safety and access. None of the work would have been able to be done had we not created that right of way, if you will, or improved upon it, because it was there. There's now signage where there was none. There is still trail rerouting, trail healing, and arboreal work still to be done. There is more signage to come. And as we move forward, if there is work where there might be ground disturbing activities, there will be consultation with the Stockbridge-Muncie tribal community. The deed for the property upon which we convene today was conveyed by the Sedgwick family to the Laurel Hill Association in 1878. And the deed dictates, and I quote, that the premises are dedicated to the use, benefit, and pleasure of the public, intending that the same be protected and preserved forever for that purpose. We are committed to the dictates of the deed as conveyed. It is our namesake property, and for good reason. It is a park, it is a place, and most importantly, it is a state of mind. I have never walked up here to the glen and not felt its majesty and the sanctity. Visit this place any time of the year, any time of the day, and if you pay attention, it will speak to you. The restoration of the historical human elements and the work to better reveal its natural beauty are the goals of the continuing restoration. If we do it well, we will honor the past and share it properly with the future. As I close, I must thank Pat Flynn, Patricia Flynn, our keeper of the institutional memory of the Laurel Hill Association. For Pat, it was did all of the initiating, the writing of the content, and the championing, but you know what I mean, this project more than 3 years ago. Pat single-handedly wrote the RFPs, supervised tree work, overgrowth removal, laurel planting, and the rostrum repair, the inscription, and the arms upon which the laurels rest. But finally, we owe a debt of gratitude to Shelby Marshall, the Laurel Hill president from 2015 to 2020. Shelby, are you here? No, Shelby? Okay. Shelby. Shelby, working with Pat, was instrumental in making Pat's vision real by writing 2 grant applications and then managing the grant process and its reporting. Shelby initiated the work in the Glen, which I've assumed after his term ended. Most importantly, however, during his 6 years as president, this organization has changed from being a reactive to a proactive group. In fact, in implementing a strategic plan, writing and implementing a strategic plan, it restarted the outreach that it had formerly been noted for in terms of events and public events, and visibility, the signage being the most notable. It reinstituted its committee system of work. It strengthened all of the activities and the application of governance was instituted. We have not had the opportunity to formally acknowledge Shelby's contributions and his legacy in this past pandemic year. So we thought it most fitting that his legacy be commemorated on our very first bench, over there, the President's Bench, now located in this Glen. Everyone who visits, who rests a bit, and who enjoys the majesty of this place will also know of Shelby's role in its restoration, as his presidential plaque will be the first and only one for a while. So thank you, Shelby, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Susan. Before we sing our next song, I just want to take a moment and say a few words about our wonderful trumpeter, Dr. Karen Lavoie. Dr. Lavoie is the professor of music and the director of the Wind Symphony at Westfield State University. Dr. Lavoie was the first woman to receive the doctorate of musical